The Chicago Bears fought hard today, okay, to barely lose against the Eagles, to be very competitive in this game, down so many players, down, even Tevin Jenkins left the game at the beginning of the game. We had Jalen Johnson go down at the end. We had other injuries throughout this game. We already had a lot of guys injured going into this game. So Khalil Herbert not playing, Chase Claypool not playing, N'Keal Harry not playing, Darnell Mooney not playing, Eddie Jackson not playing. We were missing a lot of guys on this team, but still somehow the Bears competed and barely lost this game, okay, at the last second after they couldn't get the stop at the end there to give Justin Fields and the offense the ball back to try and win the game with the game-winning drive at the end. So they lost their 11th game of the year, unfortunately, and, they obviously were not going to make the playoffs this year. They're already out of playoff contention, so this loss really does not mean anything in the grand scheme of things. It does hurt a little bit right now, but honestly, I'm not mad at this loss whatsoever. I'm being a Chicago Bears fan because, again, we fought hard, okay, against the #1 team in the NFL, okay, a 13-win team now. We barely lost against that team, and I know that moral victories are sometimes for losers, okay? You don't want to always take away moral victories because eventually you do want to actually end up winning these games. But guys, the Chicago Bears, with the talent that they currently have, how are we even competing in this game, okay, against a team this good? I mean, I predicted the Eagles to beat us, I think 42-20 something. Okay, that was my prediction because obviously the Eagles offense was rolling the entire year, but somehow this defense did a really good job for the majority of the game. Obviously, they couldn't get the stop at the end, which kind of sucks, and they did allow a couple big plays through the air. They blitzed sometimes at the wrong times, which did allow the Eagles to score touchdowns. So yes, we still allowed 25, but against a team this talented, okay, Jalen Hurts having an MVP level season. We got 2 picks against him. We got another fumble, I believe, as well. I think it was a fumble, yeah. And so, to get these turnovers, to get a defensive performance that could enable the Bears to even stay in this game, even though our offense was struggling at times today, okay? We had a very bad showing from our offensive line. We had, receivers not really getting open because, again, we were missing so many guys in this game, okay? Justin Fields' top 4 receivers were out in this game. At the end of this game, he was throwing to Nasimba Webster, okay? Nasimba Webster was one of his main targets on that final drive that we had. So again, there was no reason in the world why the Bears should not have been blown out in this game. It should have been a massive blowout. It should have been a bad showing by the Bears, but somehow they willed their way to almost maybe winning this game at the end, okay? If not for a few mistakes earlier, if not for Velus Jones fumbling again, which Velus Jones, man, is he going to be on the team next year? I'm not even sure at this point because he's looking like a massive bust of a pick so far by Ryan Poles in the 3rd round, okay? He's had multiple fumbles that have really cost the Bears late in games, okay? So Velus cost us. Some earlier decisions definitely cost us too. Cairo Santos choosing to not attempt a 49-yard field goal because he felt like the wind was too strong and he couldn't make it. Reportedly, that's what happened. So that's why the Bears punted from the 31-yard line of the Eagles, okay? That was an extremely weak call from the Bears, which I thought that, like, why are they not attempting this kick? Well, reportedly, Cairo Santos was the reason why they didn't attempt this kick, okay? Cairo felt like he could not make it, which, if that's actually true, that's really weak in my opinion, okay? Cairo Santos, you're a kicker of the Chicago Bears, okay? Kicking in Chicago, it's a really tough job, and, if you don't have the leg, if you feel like you can't make these types of kicks in the wind, I'm not sure how I feel about having him on the team long term, okay? I do know he missed an extra point today too. He's missed a bunch of extra points this entire year, and I don't want to completely give up on him because kickers can be finicky like that. Like, sometimes they'll have down years sometimes, and you don't want to give up on them completely after a down year like we did with Robbie Gould, okay? Robbie Gould was phenomenal for us the entire career that he had in Chicago. He had one bad year. Ryan Pace cuts him, and then we obviously come to regret the decision. Now, we don't want to do the same thing with Cairo Santos, but if he really feels like he can't make these kicks in the wind, okay, late in the season, okay? So I'm obviously not very happy with Cairo Santos right now. Hopefully he does prove me wrong, and, maybe there's something going on. I don't want to speculate if there's something, mentally going on or something personally. So I don't want to, go crazy on him, but this is not good, okay? That your kicker is not even willing to attempt that kick right there. So that cost us some points. A couple of Justin Fields sacks cost us some points as well. And that was mostly on the offensive line not blocking properly because obviously our offensive line had a horrible, horrible day today, okay? Cody Whitehair really struggled big time picking up stunts. He allowed, I believe, 2 sacks just by himself with pressure coming inside from his side. So Cody Whitehair really sucked. We had, Alex Leatherwood allow a pretty easy shot to Justin Fields. We had Cole Kmet blocking, I think, Reddick, which that was kind of a questionable matchup there to put, a tight end on a pass rusher that good. So Fields got killed behind this O-line, and multiple times it did end up costing us points as well, okay, taking us out of field goal range. So we sacrificed a lot of points by just not blocking properly, like Justin Fields getting sacked there, and also going shotgun on 3rd and 1. I didn't really like that in the first half, especially with how bad our offensive line was playing that game. So questionable decision there by Luke Getsy. Didn't like that play call. Probably just either QB sneak it or just do a run up the gut or something like that, because Monty probably could get you that first down. So I didn't like passing in that situation. So definitely some questionable play calls, definitely some questionable decisions from the coaching staff and, Cairo Santos, whatever happened there. But guys, still to score 20 points, okay, against a defense that's good, missing all the guys that we had, that's honestly a miracle, okay? We were missing Chase Claypool, missing Darnell Mooney, missing Equanimeous St. Brown. He went down early in this game. We were missing N'Keal Harry, who had made a lot of really impressive plays for the Bears recently. And so his receiving core today was Velus Jones, Byron Pringle, Nasimba Webster, and a couple other guys. But it was one of the worst receiving cores probably in all of football, okay, ever, okay? There was no true number 1 on this receiving core, no true number 2 either, okay? We only had number 3 options for Justin Fields, but still, we somehow scored 20 points, partly because of Justin Fields just carrying the team on his back and on his legs, okay? Justin Fields, again, had 90 plus rushing yards in this game. He had 95 rushing yards to now get to 1,000 yards exactly on the season on the ground, which is so damn impressive, okay? I did not know that Justin Fields had the ability to run like this, because again, at Ohio State, he never did this, okay? He passed from the pocket because that's what he's best at doing, and they had the structure for him at Ohio State to pass from the pocket. Unfortunately, the Bears did not afford him the structure to pass from the pocket, to be a pocket passer, because our offensive line is one of the worst in football right now, pass blocking wise. Our receiving talent is not close to what it is at Ohio State, okay? Justin Fields' number 3 option at Ohio State was Jackson Smith-Njigba, okay? Probably a first-round pick or maybe a second-round pick in this upcoming draft, okay? That's how talented they were. They had Garrett Wilson. They had Chris Olave. So we just do not have the talent there. We don't have the talent here for him to do what he did at Ohio State, but still he's making it work because of his ability to run with the football, okay? Which is one of the best, probably the best in the entire game at the quarterback spot, okay? He had a run today on 2nd and 27, okay, after he fumbled, after he got sacked. We get the ball back miraculously, and it's 2nd and 27, okay? There's very few plays he can drop to convert his 2nd and 27 immediately, okay? Usually you're looking to get, 5 or 6 yards, maybe 10 yards, and then eventually make it a 3rd and more manageable 3rd down, okay? So 3rd and 15 or something. So I'm thinking the Bears are probably going to try to do a short pass here, a dump off, maybe a screen pass, get some yards back, and eventually try to convert the 3rd and long, which probably will not happen because we don't have great pass blockers. But nonetheless, it was not very likely, okay, for Fields to turn that 2nd and 27 play into almost a touchdown, okay? What he did on that play was insane, okay? No other quarterback in the game besides Lamar Jackson can probably do something like that. He avoided the pressure, he somehow stepped out of it and ran down the sideline and almost scored a touchdown, okay? Wheeling and dealing his way down the field with his legs, okay? And there was so many times that an Eagles defender could have brought him down, but Justin Fields, being as fast as he is, being as athletic, as strong as he is too in the lower body, he somehow almost brought it in for a touchdown. I'm running out of words, I'm running out of adjectives to describe how insane this actually is, okay, what this guy is doing on the ground, because every week I feel like I've seen his best play. Well, he tops it the very next week, okay? Every single week, man, it's a 40-yard, 50-yard, 60-yard touchdown run because he's doing it all by himself, okay? He's putting this team on his back, and, sometimes it probably is a little bit too much. Like today he had 15 carries, which is, obviously you don't want your quarterback to be running that much, but we don't have an option for him, guys. The passing game is not good right now. We don't have good weapons. We don't have good pass blocking. So Fields decided to do it on his own, and he almost, willed the Bears to a victory in this game by doing that. He also had 152 yards passing, 14 for 21. He had 2 passing touchdowns, obviously one which was off the blitz to Monty. Good find by him. You're reading the pressure there and getting the ball out to his receiver in space. And then the second one was kind of a broken play in which Byron Pringle was open down the right sideline. His guy kind of lost him, and Fields, delivered the ball pretty accurately to him to, waltz him in for the touchdown. So, as a passer, I thought that Fields, for the most part, still was pretty decent when he had to pass. Okay, again, he didn't have much to work with because he was throwing to guys that weren't getting open. Like Nasimba Webster, Velus Jones, these guys were obviously not going to get open down the field the way that Darnell Mooney can, or, the way that Chase Claypool hopefully eventually can. So not having a lot to work with. We were working the quick passing game at the beginning of this game in the first half. We were getting, gains of like 5 or 6 or, 4 through the air for Justin Fields, getting the ball up pretty quick. And eventually that was not sustainable. Like eventually he was missing some of those throws as well, missing a couple screen passes, missing a couple quick passes. So, Fields as a passer still has some areas in which he can improve on and get better. Like he's not his best yet as a passer, but the fact that he still had 152 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, pretty high passer rating of, let me read the number, but it's passer rating of 119.5, pretty efficient for the most part against the #1 defense in the NFL in terms of turnovers forced, and #1 against a pass too. That was really damn impressive. Missing all the guys that we had out, missing his best offensive lineman too, and Tevin Jenkins with his offensive line sputtering the entire afternoon. The fact that he still put up 20 against a defense this good and willed the team to almost winning, that's how special of a talent Justin Fields is, okay? And he almost got injured in this game, too. He did get injured. Well, not necessarily injured, but he had cramps at the end of this game, probably from running as much as he was running. So that was kind of a scare at the end. We thought that Justin Fields might actually be seriously hurt. Thankfully, he wasn't. He re-entered the game at the end to, score a touchdown, too, because that's the type of warrior, that's the type of athlete he is, okay? That's the type of competitor that Justin Fields is. He always wants to tough it out and do what he can to play for the Chicago Bears team and will them eventually to victory, okay, when we do surround him with a better supporting cast. So overall, I was really impressed by QB1, okay? Obviously, it could have been a better day passing the ball, but when you don't have really anybody to throw to, getting 152 passing yards and still having, almost 100 yards on the ground, that is pretty damn impressive, okay? And that's why I'm so happy this guy is a quarterback of the future. Talking about the rest of the offense, the only guy I want to talk about is Monty, because Monty had a pretty good game as well. He had 12 carries for 53 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown. He also had 3 receptions for 38 receiving yards and a touchdown receiving too. So, I'm not totally sure if Monty's going to be here for next year because obviously we have Herbert under contract and Herbert is looking pretty good. There's a bunch of options in free agency too if you don't want to re-sign Monty. But I'll be really happy if we get Monty back on this team because this guy's been nothing short of a beast, okay? Whenever he has to put the team on his back like Justin Fields did, okay? There wasn't really anybody stepping up on this team, on this offense, besides for Monty, and Monty decided to have a pretty good game as well. So that's the offense. Let me talk about the defense now, and man, what a performance by the Bears secondary, specifically Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson, okay? Let me talk about Kyler Gordon first, and yes, there was a couple plays he did allow in coverage, but for the most part today, guys, he was a scrappy corner, a guy that was forcing turnovers. He had 1 interception, he had 1 fumble recovery, which forgot who forced that fumble. I think it was Mike Pennell. Okay, Mike Pennell tackles Miles Sanders pretty hard from behind. The ball pops out and Kyler Gordon is in the right place at the right time, gets the ball. Okay, and that's 2 big-time turnovers that helped the Chicago Bears basically score touchdowns after those turnovers. So, big-time day by Kyler Gordon. Okay, also had a pass deflection too a couple times where he was targeted where the ball was out of bounds because Kyler was right on his man. And that's big time improvement for Kyler Gordon because obviously this guy has struggled big time earlier this year. Like through week 4, through week 5, he was one of the most picked on corners in the entire NFL. But he's also recently shown the ability to be scrappy, to be physical, to get big time turnovers too, which is why the Bears drafted him in the first place. Okay, that's why, Ryan Poles selected him with his first pick ever as GM of the Chicago Bears. So if Kyler Gordon can continue stacking these better performances together and, put together a strong ending to this year, that's big news for the Bears defense going forward, especially with how good Jalen Johnson also is playing. And let me talk about Jalen Johnson, by far the Bears' best defensive player in this game. Okay, going up against A.J. Brown, one of the best receivers in the game right now, he basically held his own for the majority of the game. Yes, he did lose some reps at the end of this game. He lost a rep going down the field, which was honestly just a really good play. You couldn't have thrown that ball any better if you are Jalen Hurts, okay, right in front of him, and he barely had to step on Jalen. So really good play there by Hurts, and that's obviously going to happen sometimes throughout the course of a game. Even the best corners in the game do allow receptions to receivers that good, but for the majority of the game, again guys, Jalen played really good, okay? He had a bunch of plays in which he locked up A.J. Brown. He had 3 pass deflections too, so getting his hands up there, playing physical. He had a play against, I think in cover 2 where Hurts also had a pretty good throw, but Jalen at the last second, gets his hands up there, bats the ball down to, prevent the touchdown there. So really strong day by Jalen Johnson, okay? Even though our pass rush again was really nowhere to be found for the majority of the game. Allen Williams had to blitz really often today. He blitzed really frequently, okay, compared to how much he usually blitzes. And we only got pressure because of the blitz. We weren't getting any pressure sending 4 or even sometimes sending 5, okay? So our secondary really had to work hard today covering these guys for a long time. And, you know, Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, they're good performances. And even, you know, guys like Jalen Jones and, you know, other guys in the secondary like Jaquan Brisker, DeAndre Houston-Carson, their fantastic play was a reason why the Bears had a chance to almost steal this game at the end. So really good job by the Bears secondary. Imagine when we actually had talent on the D-line in front of them, okay? When we get guys like Will Anderson or Jalen Carter or Deron Payne or, you know, other guys available this offseason, it's going to be a very good unit, okay, hopefully eventually. But right now, obviously, we still allowed 421 yards of offense. The turnovers helped us a lot, okay, getting DeAndre Houston-Carson to get an interception, getting Kyler Gordon to get an interception, getting that Mike Pennell forced fumble, okay, that was big in keeping the Bears in this game. And I thought that Eberflus, you know, and Al Williams, they did a pretty decent job coaching this, you know, not very talented defense up to playing pretty well against an offense this strong. So overall, guys, again, like, how can you be mad at this game? We barely lost against a team this good. It keeps our draft pick pretty high because, you know, obviously we're staying at 3 wins now. We're probably not going to win a game the rest of the year if I had to guess with how tough our schedule is. So top 3 draft pick, so much cap space, our quarterback looking like he's on the upswing. There's so much to be optimistic about right now if you are a Chicago Bears fan. So I don't want to hear too much crying in the comment section down below. But leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought about this game. As always, bear down.